Yes, ma'am, you're audible, ma'am.
Thank you. So before I begin on what exactly is teacher leadership, we teachers are leaders all day. We lead by example in the way we speak, we act, and behave. So with this introduction, I could say, what exactly is teacher leadership? Teacher leadership, it is a process wherein teachers work and collaborate with faculty and staff, with our own colleagues. Okay, we work and collaborate with our own colleagues to improve the current teaching approaches and develop new teaching methods to further students' academic success. So we are all here for the students. We come together by improving our teaching pedagogies. It could be either by improving our teaching pedagogies or else by improving our mentoring system. You can share the first slide, ma'am. Yeah, what exactly is this teacher leadership? So that's what I have said. Teacher leadership, it is a process where teachers work and collaborate with faculty and staff to improve current teaching approaches. So this current teaching approaches can be in terms of pedagogy, or it also can be in terms of mentoring the students, counseling or motivating the students in terms of their career or in terms of their personal life, whatsoever it is, based on our experiences. So here our experiences can both be formal and informal. Means a senior level teacher, based on her experiences, can educate or guide a newcomer, a fresher, so that she also becomes a teacher leader. She or he becomes a teacher leader, and in which we are benefiting the student. So our main goal over here in any higher educational institution is the betterment of the student, the progress of the student. So how a senior level teacher, based on her experiences, these experiences can be either formal or informal, is going to develop the newcomer. That is the main role of teacher leadership. Okay, so how we influence. A leader is a person who influences other people, right? So in which way a teacher, based on her experiences, influences other people and develops new teacher leaders so that we better the future of our students. That is the meaning of teacher leadership. Next slide, ma'am. Yeah. Now here, what are the characteristics? The 6 characteristics of teacher leaders. First thing is collaboration with administration. So when I say here collaboration with administration, means either administration or management of any educational organization. So we have to be, we are being appointed. The teachers, the teacher leader is being appointed by the administration or the management as a teacher leader, so that we get to have many group of administrators or educators or educational leaders all work together in order to find a solution to a problem, or complete a task, or create a new structure. So we create a practice in the college so that others can follow. Okay, so that we are improving the quality of education. Not only quality of education, we are also bringing that self-awareness within the student. So for this, to implement any such thing, we have to collaborate ourselves with administration. So here when I say administration, it is not only the administration in which we are working, not only our own college principal or correspondent, in fact, with others also, from other colleges also. Collaboration with administration, when I talk here, it is the relationship with administrative members of our college plus other colleges also. Normally in any higher educational institution, we see that you have a hierarchical setup. You have ranging from assistant associate professors to HODs, deans, vice principal, principal, and correspondent. So here, principal in coordination with vice principal will discuss certain policies or guidelines which have to be implemented in the institution with the deans of various schools. So the deans then regulate the process through the HODs of various programs. Then there is a freedom of voice and opinion of the faculty on par with the management. Okay, so here you're decentralizing. By creating teacher leaders, you're decentralizing your part so that everyone's voice is heard here. We can get innovative ideas for the betterment of the student, for the benefit or betterment of the student. This is how teacher leadership is promoted in an organization, with various portfolios given to the faculty members in the institution. Teacher leadership is developed or promoted in any organization. See, when I say collaboration, this collaboration need not be a face-to-face collaboration. It can also be interaction occurring online by leveraging the technology, global collaboration, wherein you involve people from different organizations or nations, so that we bring in best innovative practices into account and drive student achievement. Now, what happens with this collaborations? So this collaboration will help us to lead to exploration and exchange of different educational practices. You can bring some innovative ideas, what kind of practices are followed in their institution that can be implemented with our institution. And it also, we get to learn the latest learning strategies, effective learning strategies, or different types of pedagogy. So this is the need to collaborate with other administrators of other institutions plus our institution. Okay, that is the first point. Moving on to the next one, that is foster a collaborative learning culture. Now, when I say a learning culture, means your collaborative learning, it uses groups to enhance learning by working together. Programs from various schools work together. Now, suppose you have 6 to 7 schools in a higher educational institution. You have School of Science, School of Agriculture, School of Informatics, School of Commerce. So these are the various schools. And under each school, you have n number of programs running. You have BCom computers, you have BCom International Accounting and Finance, like that. You have so many different programs running under each school. So these programs from various schools, they can work together to learn new skills and concepts, solve problems, and complete tasks. For instance, conducting any seminar or conference amongst departments. Suppose you conduct a seminar or conference from Department of Computer Science and Biotechnology, or else Agriculture and Food Technology. So this can promote an active learning culture, and it also helps in team building. We get to know our colleagues much more, and it also tries to bring in a new concept, multidisciplinary. And now, as per National Education Policy 2020, we also have the concept of cluster colleges. If I'm not wrong, this cluster colleges, wherein the resources can be shared and help the other colleges which lack in this. So we are trying to build teacher leadership by distribution of work, by involving many people into the task that we are doing for the betterment of the student. Okay. Moving to the third one, that is inform policy and practice. Now here, when I say inform policy and practice, it is generally a term that is used to describe the different ways in which students are exposed to learning content and activity during their time of study by providing students with different or deep learning experiences. Here in our college at Loyola Academy, we conduct several experiential learning activities like, lab to school programs, community outreach activities, model exhibits, symposiums. All this, they foster exposure to the real world. So here, people learn things by doing it. So this also helps in building teacher leadership. And the next one, the fourth one, is develop model and share successful practices. So when I say develop models, it is nothing but your best practice. Each and every program or department will have a best practice, which is shared by people with experience in overcoming the task at hand. It's about the process that produces the best outcomes. It's often the people on the front line, that is a teacher leader, who knows what works best for their students. Okay. Like those subject matters experts, they exist throughout the organization, and they can act as informal mentors. They can act as mentors to their colleagues. Now, for instance, you have a newcomer who has no much knowledge about how to mentor a student. So as a teacher educator, by means of teacher leadership, you can tell them the knack of how you can talk to the students. Some students are very agitating. So first you have to bring them at peace. Their frequency should match with our frequency. So there is a process of talking to the students. We randomly can't talk to the students because they may get agitated because they are not at peace with themselves. So in such a way, every department can have a best practice which can be shared amongst the colleagues so that you can solve the problems much easily. People are encouraged and rewarded for seeking out new ways of doing things. You can pick up colleagues. Every other colleague of ours will be good in some activity or the other. Some people may be good in counseling. Some people may be good with their computer knowledge. So try to use people based on their skills in solving different problems. So we try to, in this way, we are promoting leadership amongst our colleagues. We also have another program at Loyola Academy, that is Earn While You Learn program. So here, this is specifically conducted by School of Food Technology and Nutrition, wherein, the bakery products which are prepared by our students, they're sold on the campus, and they're also sold for outsiders. Okay, so here the school generates revenue which can be used for procuring raw material or any other supplement required for that concerned department. Similarly, the School of Agriculture also, it produces, they cultivate green leafy vegetables or vermicompost or vermi wash and many other products out of their practical hours and generate revenue for the upliftment of their school. So you must be wondering, what is the benefit of this best practice? One department's best practice can be used in several ways. So in which ways? In which way it is beneficial? So here what you're doing, you're creating a learning culture. First and foremost, essence of the best practices, you're creating a learning culture. Then you're breaking information out of silos. Okay, that's the second important thing. And you're developing good relationship with the members of other departments, and you're also improving productivity, and you're trying to solve the problems by generating revenue on your own. You're not dependent on any management to produce, to give you some amount of money to take up your raw material. So you're trying to solve your own problems. So quite a good number of benefits out of the best practices. Next one is connecting with peers locally and globally. So here you might have heard about the concept of PLN. PLN is Personal Learning Network. Okay, so here the administrators, those who have a PLN, those who develop a personal learning network, who can connect globally to share resources, collaborate on best educational practices, who can challenge thinking amongst other administrators and leaders to serve the educational community. Okay, see, in this 21st century, we understand the importance of plugging into the various social networks and learning communities on Twitter, Google+, LinkedIn, YouTube, and other social forums, wherein professional growth can occur at any time. Several courses are offered on MOOCs platform, wherein our teachers are enrolled as mentors, not only for the students within our campus, we're also mentors for students of some other colleges also. Okay, so we help any student from any part of the world. So we are again a teacher leader there. Then you also have faculty exchange programs, which help in connecting with the peers locally or globally also. It depends upon the branding of your institution. So this all helps in building a team spirit and a sense of community between the people in an organization. Then moving on to advocate for teacher students. Now here when I say advocate for teacher students is the faculty provides assistance, support and guidance to their colleagues while empowering others to work towards greater stability. As I told you, it could be either a professional talk or a casual talk, wherein you try to motivate your colleagues. We guide them and with our experiences to reach their outcomes without wasting time and energy. We, on our own, when we started any program, we might have wasted a lot of time and energy in achieving our outcomes. But now with our experience, we can tell our colleagues how to do the task within less time and without wasting much energy. Now, for example, as I told before, also we have mentoring programs, we have remedial classes for slow learners, which is conducted with a set of guidelines. Okay, so when I say mentoring also here, we have to have a boundary to what extent we can mentor the student. We shouldn't be too personal. At the same time, the student also should be free from their grievances. So the college has set up a policy on to what extent we can mentor or barge into the personals of the student. So here the teacher students are guided with those modalities so that they earn their outcomes, so that the student is also satisfied and the teacher also gets the satisfaction of mentoring the student in a proper way. Suppose the new teacher is not experienced and just asks a question which shouldn't be posed to the student. There could be education, there could be, reflections from the student, which may not create a good harmony between the mentor and mentee. So to avoid all this, the teacher leader can always hint the teacher in which way she can proceed with mentoring. The same can also happen with remedial classes. The same can also happen with our day-to-day classroom teaching, like in which way we can promote our student so that he reaches his outcome. The student should reach his program outcome and course outcome. Okay, when we are all into this outcome based education now, so we have to see that our student at the end reaches his outcome. The goal is that student should reach his outcome. So in which way we can generate more teacher leaders so that they help the student to reach his outcome. That is the main role of promoting teacher leadership in any higher education institution. Now, can we go to the next slide? Okay. Now, what are the various opportunities for teacher leadership in a changing world? Now, first of all, when I say changing world, the apt word could be a VUCA world, VUCA. I hope people have heard about it. This is basically in most of the corporate conferences, we happen to hear this word VUCA, VUCA. Now, VUCA stands for, V stands for volatility, U stands for uncertainty, and C stands for complexity, and A stands for ambiguity. Volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. So it describes a situation of constant, unpredictable change that is now the norm in certain areas of the world. Okay, all of a sudden we had COVID-19. All of a sudden we shifted to online teaching. Then there's no COVID now with vaccination. There's no COVID-19. Again, we have come back to offline. So anything can happen. All of a sudden we have rain sometimes, and we're again back home going for online classes. So this is a VUCA world wherein it is unpredictable. There is no consistency in the situations that we are facing. So what this VUCA demands, this VUCA world demands that we avoid the traditional method of teaching, the traditional outdated approaches of teaching or management or leadership. We have to improve it. So how we are going to improve it? By generating even more number of teacher leaders amongst our colleagues. Okay, so if to sustain in this VUCA world or in this uncertain world, what are the teachers that a teacher leader should possess? So first of all, it should be student-centric. We are all here, we are existing here in any higher educational institution or else even in a school, it is only because of the students. If students are there, we are there. If there are no students in any college or any institution, then we also will not have our job. So we are all here for the students. So it is student-centric. So now here, when I say student-centric, we will have to find ways to support teachers as they transition into non-traditional teaching. We have to focus on non-traditional teaching, wherein, it is more student-centered, peer-mediated, STEM classrooms, and preparing student peer leaders for the roles in their classes. Okay, so the teacher's role is to encourage and accept student autonomy. You have to give preference for the student to voice out. It is not like, you come, you talk something and the student simply notes down and then goes back home, and then during the exam, he writes something, we promote him. It's not like that. Now with this, in this VUCA world, the student is given priority to put forth his concept. Okay, we have this flipped classroom. In flipped classroom, what exactly is happening? The student is given the concept beforehand. The student comes prepared with the concept, and he comes and discusses that particular concept in the classroom, wherein the teacher also should support him. The teacher will only act as a facilitator. No longer it is, that one dialogue coming from the teacher and the student is simply listening. It's not like that. Now the student is also exposed to several platforms wherein he also can gather information, and there can be only clarification of doubts in the classroom. Okay, so now with outcome-based education, it is purely student-centric. So here the teacher's role is changing. What are the teachers supposed to do? They have to move from traditional method of teaching. They have to accept new pedagogies, innovative methods of teaching. It could be either experiential or flipped classroom, or else group discussions or ICT based teaching, everything. Based on this, you have to first diagnose the student, what kind of students we have in the class. If the students are proactive, and it's very easy for the teacher to push forward with flipped classroom. But suppose you have a class which is not that so good, it is just an average class or a below average class, then based on the nature of the students, we have to shift with our teaching pedagogy, wherein, might be you have to give some introduction in the beginning and then force the student to reflect on the concept so that he or she reaches their outcome. So that is about student-centric. So here, once again, try to promote the leadership in the teacher so that they motivate the students. They inculcate the feeling of self-realization. The student, it's all the time, we teachers shouldn't say that you have to come, you have to learn, you have to pass. It shouldn't be like that. The student himself should realize that whatever he is doing, basically our NEP 2020 policy also focuses on this. The student is made to be realized. Self-realization should be inculcated in the student. The student should feel that I have to be punctual to the classes, I have to be disciplined, and he is learning for himself. He is not learning for the teacher or for his parent. He is learning for himself. That's why now we are having multidisciplinary education. You have multiple entry, multiple exit concept coming into picture, wherein we are trying to build self-realization within the student. So in order to build that self-realization in the student, the teacher also should be developed enough to create that kind of feeling in the student. The teacher should motivate the student in such a way that the student realizes. So different kind of pedagogy should be adopted by the teacher based on the nature of the class. Next, moving to action-oriented. Generally, leaders are always action-oriented. So the teacher leaders here, they essentially focus on the practice of leading by example. It is either inside or outside the classroom. They, they set the tone of the institution and inspiring other teachers by the skills they possess. Communication is also a skill. Listening is also a skill. And time management, dedication, and the personal achievements of the teacher, wherein the student can be, influenced by the teacher. A teacher leader is the one who influences the student. So definitely there should be enough content within the teacher also in order to influence the student. So teacher leaders take young or struggling teachers, okay, under their wings to mentor. This style of leadership is usually time consuming, and it requires much empathy and patience on the leader's part. However, you have enough benefits to teacher development so that the student achieves their success. That is action oriented. So here, when I say action oriented, the teacher leader should encourage the new teacher by the content that they possess. So first of all, the teacher leader should be very punctual and should know how to manage their time, should be dedicated. So all these skills should be inbuilt within the teacher leader so that he influences the other colleagues whom he wants to promote as a teacher leader in the future. And beyond one classroom, the next one, if you see beyond one classroom. So here, when I say beyond one classroom, then here the relationship is not only in the classroom between the teacher and the student, it is even outside the classroom. The first area here is to understand how to build a positive relationship among the adults in the higher educational institutions. These relationships are amongst teachers. It can be between the principal and the teacher, or between the principal and the teacher leaders. It can be between the teacher leader and the new teacher, anything. So what kind of relationship that we share? Sorry. And secondly, so that is the first thing, the relationship between the principal and the teacher leader, relationship between the teacher leader and the new leaders, or the relationship between the principal and the teacher leaders, or the new teachers. Secondly, these leaders, they must make the decision to distribute the power and authority. So this definitely takes courage and skills to know how to share power in an authentic way so that initiatives can be sustained. Even after suppose the principal is on transfer for every 3 years, suppose the principal is on transfer. The staff is here, the faculty is here for ages, like we are here for 10 years or 20 years or 30 years, but the principal is always on transfer. So here the consistent staff is a faculty. Okay, so here these leaders must make a decision to distribute power and authority. So this definitely, you should have enough, courage and skill to share the power in authentic way. Then next thing is the principles of the central office leaders. They must possess skills to provide a quality professional learning that is based on the institution's vision. Every institution has got a vision and mission. So our the management should provide quality professional training so that we deliver that kind of training that we have acquired to the students when we are teaching them. Whenever we are interacting with the students, it could be either based on subject content or other than subject content also. When we are dealing with the student, leadership skills should be seen when a teacher leader is speaking to a student or to another colleague of his. That leadership quality should be reflected when we are speaking. So this is possible when the management conducts several every time in a academic year. You have some workshop sessions or some teacher leadership program wherein the leadership skills within the teacher should be stimulated, or they have to be either they inculcated, or else if we are a born leader, those skills should be stimulated. Then next, coming to a positive influence. So this is actually, we run into trouble whenever we try to tell someone else what to do. Normally, people don't accept it that very easily when we tell others to do something. Especially when it is a fellow professional with the same experience or with the same qualification, they don't digest it that well. So here, no, this doesn't mean isolation or complete autonomy is healthy. So we need to find a balance. We need to find a balance, a place where cooperation is seen in a positive thing, where we understand the benefits when we put all these together as a team. Means the other person also should be receptive. When one person with equal experience or equal qualification is trying to tell something, the other person also should take it up in a receptive manner. If at all there are any doubts, they can definitely question, but we can sit, discuss, and sort out issues rather than questioning. It should always be a discussion rather than questioning. So a positive influence should be generated between the teacher leader and whom he wants to train as a leader. So actually, there is a quote by Alfie Kohn. There's a quote by Alfie Kohn, where once he said that people don't resist change; they resist being changed. People don't resist change; they resist being changed. They don't want to change. They have some prefixed notions in their head, and they feel that's right. That's human tendency. Each one of us also must be doing the same. But we always have to try to create a collaborative community where, every voice is valued and we all commit to a higher goal of helping our students succeed. Then it is not about telling one another. The other person will not feel that we are questioning them or we are telling them. In fact, they will feel that they are learning. Okay, if there's something that I'm lacking in, it's always good that I learn it. Whether it is a junior also, it is always good that I develop my skill by learning from them. So this kind of work culture we have to develop in our institution. I know it is very difficult to develop such kind of work culture, but definitely the management also should promote and help in developing such a work culture in any institution. That connect between the colleagues, that bonding between the faculty, staff, and the management should be good, or there should be a positive atmosphere, taking things positively, whatever it is, taking things positively instead of questioning. We can always discuss and sort out issues. Then we have collaborative. Now here, when I say collaborative is again, discussing. Here, all the stakeholders are involved. It is not only between teacher of one institution and other institution. It can also be the teacher with the management, the teacher with the parent, teacher with the student. We all have to work as one team. So for this also, teacher leaders play a very important role. Okay, you have to have a 360 degree thinking. You have to be empathetic. At the same time, you have to be motivating. You have to be strict. all kind of 360-degree thinking, wherein you try to bring betterment in the student. The student also should feel, it shouldn't be that we are simply solving a problem. The student should feel satisfied. Whenever a student comes with any problem, we have to collaborate with each and every one, not required that it is only within our institution. It could be outside the institution also, with various other stakeholders also, and create and solve the problem of the student, where the student feels that he has reached the outcome. Means, in one word, if I have to say, you should have a healthy environment where all these things, are sorted out without disturbance, either to the teacher leader or to the student or to his colleague or to the management or to the student community. Everyone has to feel satisfied. So here, as a teacher leader, you have to nurture the leadership of others by speaking passionately about your vision. So whenever we sit, rather than gossiping, rather than judging others, we can also always discuss about the ideas, about the vision, how we can bring the institution to the next level, how we can, change the mindset of the students. Post-COVID, the mindset of the students has changed. So, how you can change the mindset of the students, how you can bring them back on the track, how you can motivate the student. We can sit anytime when we are in the cafeteria or anywhere, we can sit, discuss on our vision and try to bring in this rather than judging or gossiping or, any such thing. We can advocate for greater roles for teachers so that we bring a better grade point for the institution. If the quality of the students is good, then definitely automatically the grade point of the institution also increases. Next slide, ma'am. Okay. So here, what are the 7 conditions for the teacher leadership? Now, when we come to see what are the various conditions. So the first one is, as I told you, the vision and strategy for teacher leadership. The teacher leader should have a goal, a stated goal and a clear image of task that has to be done. That must be in place. So without a vision or without a goal, I simply can't go and train some other colleague of mine. So first of all, I should have a goal and a vision in mind. Okay, so that it is easy for me to train someone. So first, vision and strategy for teacher leadership. Second one, supportive administration. So here it is all self-explanatory, but anyways, I'm going to tell. When I say supportive administration, here it means that the principal or the management in general, they must be, willing to share power with teachers and must have the skills to cultivate them as leaders. Means decentralization, wherein each and every discussions are done, rather than simply giving out the judgment or statements like this has to be done or that has to be done. Instead of that, in our meetings at different levels, it could be dean's meeting, it could be HOD's meeting, it could be faculty meeting, it could be simple staff meeting, any kind of meeting. You discuss, the management has to discuss and then come to a conclusion. So a supportive administration where voice of every individual working in the institution is heard. Okay, decision can be taken by the management, but voice should be heard and equal justice should be done to everyone. No community should feel this, neither the teacher community, neither the student community or the parent or the placement cell, none of us should feel that justice is not done. Everything should be sorted. So that is possible with a supportive administration. Then adequate resources. So we all definitely should have equal amount of financial, fiscal resources as well as human resources. Okay, the institution should be generous enough to appoint as many number of faculty required depending upon the number of programs and the student strength that they have. As per NAC also, the mentoring ratio is 1 mentor for 15 students. But we can extend till 20. 1:20 we can go. So we should have enough quantity of staff. Okay, the staff should not be overburdened. Enough quantity of staff, because if the staff is overburdened, more number of working hours given to the staff, then definitely there is no quality delivered. It will be very robotic. Simply come, just tell whatever you know, share your info. It is only sharing of information. But the teacher's role is not only sharing the information, we also have to see whether the student has understood and in which way he is applying the information. For that, we need sufficient amount of staff. We also need enough amount of financial resources also, so that the staff is well paid, and the staff should be happy. For that, resources, adequate resources, both in terms of human and financial resources, should be sufficient. Then enabling work structure. So here, enabling work structure, when I say the teacher leaders should have, you should enable authentic collaboration. We have to be given the freedom to collaborate with other teachers of other departments, or with teachers of other colleges, or with any NGOs, or with anyone, any kind of consultancy. So we have to be given the freedom to collaborate and get things done. Now, when you see, now NEP is also promoting internships, apprenticeship. So we can tie up with any industry, okay, wherein our students can be sent to trainings wherein they are learning. Before NEP, it was all theoretical knowledge was imposed on them. But now with the advent of NEP, we also want them to be exposed to the practicals. So here, suppose you have 6 days in a week, you have 3 days of on-job training, OJT, and 3 days of theoretical classes. So here, in order to send the students for on-job training, you have to collaborate with industries. So in Loyola Academy, we are having 40 courses right now, 42 courses right now, 42 programs are running. And in this 42 programs, around 7 programs are having tie-up with industries, so that our students are also having practical exposure. Okay, so this is enabling work structure. Then the supporting strong collaboration. Then coming to the next one is social norms or working relationships. Now, no, this is very, very important here. Here, this is a key to teacher leadership, actually. This requires a commitment to all students and respect for different areas of expertise. All too often, policymakers, they develop incentives to motivate teachers and administrators. So instead of policies and programs that has to be in place to value teachers, before doing any activity, definitely there should be a policy in the college, in the higher educational institution. If suppose I want to do some activity, I want to go for internship, I want to send my students for internship, I should have a policy in place. Okay. Suppose I want to promote research, I want to give some seed money for the staff so that they do research and they publish papers. I should have a policy in place. So policy is mandatory in the college or in any higher educational institution. First, there should be policies at place, and we conduct that particular activity based on the policy. We should not deviate from the policy. If you are deviating from the policy, then there comes partiality, biasness, and all such things. Now, the previous slide only. I'm still in the previous slide. Right. So here you're supporting the social norms and working relationship. How you can do this? You can do this only if you have a policy at place wherein, equal justice is done to all the people, irrespective of the management. If a policy is in place, then every other individual, not only the experienced teacher, even a newcomer, a fresher also is treated equally. So you should have a policy in place. Now, what am I talking here is that, how you can promote this teacher leadership. You can promote this teacher leadership if you have a policy in place, wherein rules are common or equal to every individual who is working in that particular higher educational institution. Then this blurred lines. So here, there shouldn't be any organizational politics. Normally, when you have any organizational politics in any institution, you have these blurred lines between roles. Favoritism, nepotism, all these concepts come here. So you should not allow for these blurred lines. So if you have a policy in place, automatically you don't have these blurred lines coming in any institution. The next one, I guess the last one, this is inquiry and risk taking. So here, As the students need hands-on learning, in the same way, the teachers also, the teachers whom you want to promote as leaders in the coming days or months, they also they also need some sessions. They also should be given um, chance to drive questions to push their work forward. Means this a system should be created wherein they interrogate themselves about the extent to which they can create opportunities, in the way they can motivate the students, they can show their leadership. So you have to create such situations where the teacher who wants to be a teacher leader in the coming days should assess themselves, should know, okay, if such a situation is given to her, how is she going to deal with the situation, to what extent she can see that she brings the outcome, the desired outcome to that particular student. So give chance for the individual who wants to be a teacher leader in the coming days to handle certain situations on their own. Okay, you first, there is a policy in place. You also have told about the entire concept to that particular upcoming teacher leader, but give freedom for the teacher leader to take a decision and solve that particular issue. So when they are doing that, they get to know at which they are strong, what skills they possess, at which they are weak, what is their thinking pattern, whether they can take, whether they are good at decision making. All these things they can analyze about themselves. Okay. Ma'am, next slide. Okay. So here we are having these areas. Okay, 8 areas. No, this is nothing. This is in general for leadership. Okay, this is again self-explanatory. So here, how to develop a ring of resilience in leadership. Definitely, whenever anyone who is into any leadership position, no, we are not walking on a bed of roses. So there's always people, there are always so many eyes watching us, and we are more judged. Whoever is in a leadership role, we are always judged. We're always judged, and there's always, we're very keenly watched. So how do we come out of this? Definitely all the decisions that we take is not a hit. So most of the times we also have pitfalls. And so how to come out of it? So for that, you should have a strong support-based network. RP members, whoever are with us, all these people, they can always, you should always have some well-wishers with us, who can say, that's okay. That's okay. This time we have failed in doing this, but that's okay. That's not totally wrong that we have done. We are here to support you. So the management also should be in support with us, even though we take a wrong decision as a teacher leader. They have to support us. And our peer team members with whom we are working also, they have to be receptive. This is totally a professional setup. So no personal feelings here. So that is developing a support-based network. Then next, be clear on your purpose and remind yourself regularly. So as I told you, we should have a vision. We have to see that whether our vision is satisfied here, whether we have reached our vision. It is irrespective of the person whom we are training, irrespective of the teacher whom we are training, but it is always mandatory that whether what goal we had in our mind, whether we have reached our goal. Next, celebrate success and ensure you enjoy those moments. So definitely, if we have done something good today, if we are successful in any of our tasks given to us, we have to celebrate it. It's not always, okay, I am in this, this is my portfolio, so I don't have to mingle with others. That shouldn't be there. That kind of mindset shouldn't be there. We have to celebrate our success, or else our failures also. We can discuss our failures and celebrate our success with our staff members. And we have to be open and talk when we are struggling with things, rather than just sulking with the problem. It's always good that we discuss with like-minded people and come to a conclusion of what can be done. And we don't have to take ourselves seriously. We can at a time spend time with our colleagues. So it's normally during, as I told you before also, it is not necessary that we gossip and judge others. In fact, we can talk about our skills, in which area I am strong, in which area you're strong, and whether we can solve this problem by, handling that particular situation with their skill. So that comes with communication. So our interpersonal communication is very important. Self-disclosure is very important, wherein I get to know, when we interact with people only, we get to know what they are good at and what I am good at, and in which things, in which areas I am not good at. So this is called self-disclosure. So when we are self-disclosing ourselves, we get to know what are our strong points and weak points, so that we can solve any kind of issue. When a particular situation demands it, we can call that particular person to handle that issue. And then balance negatives with positives, with reflecting. So this is always possible. As I told you, there shouldn't be any kind of ego hassles, and we should be empathetic without judgment. Be empathetic without judgment. So this always creates a leadership position. Should be a position of influencing others rather than delegating the job, or rather than commanding. It shouldn't be a bossy position. It should be a position where other people are automatically influenced. They should feel like relating to you. They should feel like following you. We shouldn't force anyone to follow us. But the qualities that we develop, the way we motivate and talk to people, people should feel like approaching us and following us. And the next one, stay focused on what you can influence and not what you can. As I told you, the leadership post is always an influencing post. You have to upskill your areas where you are weak at. Okay, you should develop communication skills. You should be empathetic. You should be patient enough. You should work along with the team. The leader's job is not only to delegate work, but also work along with them and try to understand the problems from their end also. So when it is a teamwork, we will not feel that we are in a leadership post. That stress is not there. We should feel equals and work. And then be a pragmatic optimist, not a perfectionist. Don't try to expect perfection in everything. Every other task that we take up will definitely have some loopholes. But as long as those loopholes don't create mess or don't create a negative situation, we can take those loopholes and proceed further. Definitely, we will have some problems. We can't solve any problem 100%. There will definitely be some issues, but as long as those issues don't cause any disaster for anyone, we can just overlook them and proceed further. So in that way, we can be strong in any leadership position. We should be one with the team. No biases, no nepotism, no favoritism should be exhibited. Next slide, ma'am. I guess this is my last slide. So here I would like to say that a teacher's job, a teacher is a leader. It's not necessary based on the portfolio, whether I'm a dean or a HOD or a principal, nothing like that. The student looks at a teacher like a leader. Even if I'm a newcomer, this is day one of my job in the college. Then also the student looks at a teacher as a leader. A teacher affects eternity. It's forever. Okay, we can never tell where our influence stops. The way we behave, the way we carry ourselves, the way we communicate, all these are highly noticed by our students. And if they like it, automatically we influence them. Automatically they start following us. So we are born leaders. All teachers are born leaders. We only have to keep upskilling ourselves, be empathetic, patient, have good communication skills, and with presence of mind. I guess we can promote teacher leadership amongst our other colleagues also. That's it. With this, I end the content given to me. Thank you. If anyone is keen on talking on some issues, you're welcome with your questions.